Good morning and welcome to Living Local 15. I'm your host, Jessica Williams. Thank you so much for joining me. It is a brand new year and we're so thrilled to show you some brand new content. Okay, before we get things kicked off, you already know it's time for some motivation. So as we step into this brand new year, let's remember this powerful truth. For last year's words belong to last year's language. Basically, leave the past in the past. The mistakes, the disappointments, the fails, and the L's you took belong in last year's version of yourself. This new year, you have grown, you have evolved, and you have learned more. You are standing today as a better version of yourself. So the doubts that you carry, those are old doubts. Those are old excuses and old limitations. This is now a new chapter. So let me empower you to be free to reinvent and also introduce a brand new language for yourself this year. Now on to the show. First up, Chef K9 is joining me in studio. They create healthy homemade meals for your dogs. Then Compass Aging Solutions is here to share how they are making aging at home easier. And later we have a brand new episode of Money Monday with Foster Financial. And we're discussing that Aunt Irma. Stay tuned to learn more. Are you ready? Let's get started.
Fashion, food, and fun. You're watching Living Local 15 with your host, Jessica Williams.
This segment sponsored by Chef K9. If you are a dog owner, this one's for you. Chef K9 offers healthy, homemade, whole foods dog food. And their slogan is from our kitchen to their bowl. And joining me today is their owner, Riley Sloan. Hello, Riley.
Hi.
Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Okay, so I love the title, Chef K9. Okay, super creative. And so you've had your business now for a year. Tell me about Chef K9.
So Chef K9 is a human-grade dog food company. We buy everything from the grocery store and make it into a 100% whole food dog food. Mm-hmm. And as you can see here, it's 100% organic. There's nothing synthetic or we don't use preservatives or additives. It's exactly what you see.
Yeah, I mean, it looks amazing. I feel like this is human food and you've made it all pretty as if we have our own little meal plan up here. So I understand that this kind of started from a passion because you are a dog mom yourself. You have 4 dogs, right?
Yes. Okay,
and so what made you kind of decide, I don't want to use traditional dog food. I want to do more human grade food.
So really, it all came from research. I started hearing a lot about what is in traditional kibble and the effects that it's having on our dogs. Things like cancer, diabetes, bone degradation. Dogs are not living as long as they should be. And so, just like with humans, diet is everything.
Yeah.
When we realize that human grade food is making all the difference is when I really wanted to try that out with my dogs. And so that's really where it started.
Okay.
Was cooking for my dogs at home. But I realized that there was a need, especially locally, for this kind of food. And so that's where it really started for me.
Wow, that's incredible. And so when people hear human grade food or fresh food, what does that mean? Is it what it sounds like? This is food that actually humans can eat, but you just make it in a special way for your pet?
So human grade food really is a term that signifies quality. For something to be human grade, that means that it is past all of the standards and requirements that we have to eat something or for it to be in the grocery stores.
Okay.
For a product to be rejected, and that could be for illness or it's expired, that product is then rejected, but to maximize profit, it's then sent to the food factories.
Okay.
And it is then turned into pet food.
Wow.
Yeah, so, it's worth asking yourself, if this food isn't good enough for me to eat, do I want to be feeding that to my dog?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and going on your website, it's so interesting because you have subscription plans and you have ways that people can order bowls. And it kind of looks like the human process of like going and ordering your food each month. So this process can be done for your animals. But one thing that comes to mind is wondering, can animals eat any type of human food? Because I see like herbs and spices that you have here. I didn't even know dogs could eat that.
Yeah, some of the herbs are really great for antioxidant, anti-inflammatory. But no, to answer your question, not every human food is good for dogs. It's not something that, you could just throw together. It's really worth looking into how these nutrients affects the dog and in what way, and then is that balanced? So we've spent a lot of time at Chef Canine getting to the bottom of what ingredient goes where and how we balance that out so that it's a whole balanced meal for the dog.
Yeah, and that's important because that means don't try it at home, but actually go to a professional. So you actually did the study, so people should order your meal plan. So kind of talk to me about the food options that you have in front of us.
Sure. So this is the raw version of our salmon bowl. And over here on the very far side would be what the salmon bowl would look like after it's been cooked and how it would be served to your dog.
Interesting. Okay. I'm glad that you made that connection because I was thinking you just give the dog this plate here. Okay, so this is the start of it. You cook it down to these containers here.
Yes.
Got it.
Yep, we do a 1 pound container, a 2 pound container, and 4 pound container. That's what you see here. Look like that's our 2 pound and our 4 pounds.
Wonderful.
Yep, this is our turkey bowl. So you can see this is made with cauliflower, apples, spinach, carrots. We also do a beef bowl, and then we also do a limited edition bowl that rotates throughout the year. That includes organ meat because organ meat is really great for dogs as well.
Yeah. Okay, awesome. And so basically, if someone is interested, they can do a one-off purchase or they can do your subscription plan, right?
Yes, we give people the flexibility to choose one or the other. Some dogs are really picky, so you don't want to sign up for a subscription just to find out that your dog doesn't like the food.
Yeah.
So you can order just a pound starting out and see how your dog responds and then go from there.
All right, perfect. Well, this is such a great idea, and I love that you are just bringing healthiness to our animals in the Fort Wayne community. So thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And if you would like more information about Chef Canine, we'll have their website listed below. Check it out, and I'll see you after the break. This segment sponsored by Chef Canine.
Have an idea for the show? Want to find out how you can be a guest? Contact us at livinglocal15@wayne.com.
This segment sponsored by Comfortable Aging Solutions. Comfortable Aging Solutions supports and guides families with expert consulting for safe and independent aging in place. And here to share more about her company is Christy Heyer, the owner and founder. Good morning, Christy.
Good morning.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's dive into your company. Tell us more about Comfortable Aging Solutions.
So, Comfortable Aging Solutions is a consulting company that I started just last year. And what I do is I provide consulting and home safety services for either aging adults that want to stay in their home as they get older, and also for their families, generally the adult children that see the aging parent aging in the home and want to be able to help them do that.
Yeah.
So the two main services I provide is a home safety evaluation, where I work with the family and go through the home and identify potential hidden safety risks, tripping hazards, other things like that. A lot of things that you may not expect to look forward to,
Right.
And tell them what things they can do, what equipment needs to be installed. And it doesn't always involve a total home renovation or a bathroom renovation. There's a lot of great things you can do, very budget friendly. So that's one of my services. And then I also have the consulting side of the services, where I provide one-on-one consulting, either in person or virtually or on the phone, however people like to do it. All about the whole process of aging at home. I mean, nowadays they call it aging in place.
Okay.
A lot of people don't really know that term.
Right.
I call it aging at home because that's essentially what it is.
Right.
But there's really a lot of things to look at when you are wanting to age at home. Financial, legal, delegation of responsibilities within the family or friends if you don't have a family involved. There are really a lot of very important things to look at immediately, to plan for in the future, because that can make or break whether or not you're able to stay in your home as long as safely possible.
Yeah, and when you talk about the ability to stay at home, I'm sure that's a conversation that so many people are having with their parents to see, okay, is this the best option? Because we do see live-in facilities, you know, popping up, or communities that kind of support the aging. And so I kind of love the step. This is kind of like a pre-step. If you're not ready to take that jump to a senior living home, you can actually evaluate ways that you can stay comfortably in your own home. And so you kind of help navigate that with them. And so I'm curious, what made you start this company?
It's a three-pronged reason why I started this company. I've been an occupational therapist for 25 years. Okay. I've worked in every single aspect of occupational therapy there is. I've been in nursing homes, assisted living facilities, hospitals, schools. I've done ergonomic consulting. I'm a certified hand therapist. I worked in outpatient. So I've kind of done it all, and I've loved my career. But back in 2012, I died of a heart attack. And come to find out, I had a sort of rare condition called SCAD, S-C-A-D. Okay. Stands for spontaneous coronary artery dissection. If you want to find out more about it, Mayo Clinic's website is where the cardiologist of mine that's researching this the most is at. So I didn't obviously know I had this. So I died of a heart attack here in Fort Wayne. Thank God. I was in an emergency room, and I had 3 stents put in my heart at that time. A little bit later on, I ended up having a defibrillator put in because of another heart condition they thought I might have had that's really, really rare that runs in my family. Right. So that really kind of crystallized for me quality of life before you die. And I know we've kind of all think about that, but for me it made it so very important. You know, you can't really explain to somebody what surviving your own death is like. But so when that happened, I talked to my parents and I was like, look, how do you guys want to live before you die? Yeah. Do you want to try to stay in this house? Are you willing to pay strangers to come take care of you? I will do everything I possibly can as an OT. You know, I'll do the showers, all the toileting stuff, you know, that's no problem. And how do you want to pay for it? Because obviously it's not free, and insurance definitely does not cover it. Not most of it, depending on the situation. So we kind of mapped all that out. And then unfortunately, my dad passed away about 3 years ago. And I was very, very close to my dad. My mom has Alzheimer's, and so I kind of stepped into the situation and helped take care of her now. But I came to that point in my life where I was like, okay, I've done all this stuff. You know, my dad's gone. I know how to help my mom and what they both wanted. You know, what am I going to do with the rest of my life? What's the quality of my life going to be? And I really just found, you know, my passion, what I love to do is walking into people's homes, telling them what to do to be safer long term, that things that work, and how to do this, you know. And you may not be able to stay in your home forever, or you may just, you know, none of us know if we're going to get hit by a bus tomorrow, right?
Right. Tomorrow is not promised. Right. But planning is essential. And so if someone is interested in talking to you, what does that process look like to get started?
Yeah. Well, you can really do several different things. One is you can email me at Christy@comfortableagingsolutions.com. My website is comfortableagingsolutions.com. And on there, I've got some links that you can book a coffee chat. I call it Let's Just Talk About It. Where basically we just talk either through Zoom or phone call or in person, if you're in the Fort Wayne area, about what your issues are right now. You know, a lot of people are in a crisis where they didn't plan anything, and somebody fell, got hurt, and the whole family is imploding because nobody knows what to do and everyone's freaking out. And I've been in that situation. So we can call and talk about, is that the situation you're at? Or are you way at the beginning, hopefully, and looking ahead to plan to hopefully reduce the severity of any sort of injury? So I just kind of use the opportunity to talk with them and find out where they're at and really what's going to work best for them.
Right.
I have a lot of connections, some in the community and some even nationally, of different services like elder care attorneys and financial planners. So I really am looking at what is going to fit the family best.
Right.
Some of it may be my services, which obviously we can, talk about that. Or there may be some other people's services as well. So I really just want to help them.
Yeah, I love that, a one-stop shop. Well, thank you so much, Christy, for talking to me. Appreciate
that.
And if you would like more information about Comfortable Aging Solutions, we'll have their website listed below, and I'll see you after the break. This segment sponsored by Comfortable Aging Solutions.
Follow us on social media at Living Local 15.
This segment sponsored by Foster Financial. It is top of the year, and it is time for another edition of Money Monday with Foster Financial, and I'm so thrilled to be joined in 2026 with Caleb Doan, their Vice President. Hey there, Caleb.
Hey.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you.
Good to see you.
Yeah, you as well.
Yeah, anything new going on?
Man, I mean, lots of stuff in the finance world, of course. So we got lots of
Yes.
new caps and new contribution limits and all that kind of stuff this year.
Okay, well, I'm so excited to talk with you and dive in throughout this year. Okay, so right now people are wondering about Medicare and what is actually happening. Are premiums going to increase? How are people going to be impacted with their health care?
Yeah. So a lot of people who are over 65 and on Medicare got a letter at the end of November, maybe early December last year that said premiums were going to be going up. And it's relatively common for that to happen year to year. So last year, the premiums were around $185 a month. This year, Medicare Part B premiums are $202.90 per month. So a relatively modest increase. Still, we never like to see that number go up. But there were some folks who also got a letter saying that they're going to be subject to an income-related monthly adjustment amount, or IRMA.
Okay.
And that's really the letter that we don't like to receive.
Right.
Okay, because that means that just because you had too high of income back in 2024, the government is going to raise your Medicare premiums much, much higher in 2026. So instead of just that, $17 or $18 increase, it's going to be another over $80 more per month, just because they thought your income was too high a couple years ago. And this is something that typically requires somebody to take action, because a lot of times people get kicked into IRMA just for one-time events that might happen, and you can file a waiver to basically successfully avoid having that additional premium, but you have to do that within 60 days. So if you got it at the end of November, oftentimes the end of January is when people need to file that waiver by. We've helped a lot of folks do that, so we're certainly happy to help people.
Okay, so yes, you talked about this, right? Didn't we call it like Aunt Irma?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, she's the aunt that you don't want to have send you a letter.
Okay, and so how do people know if they qualify for that premium or that waiver?
Yeah, so they would get that letter in the mail telling them that their premiums are going to be even higher than what that standard $202.90 per month will be. And there are a series of qualifying events that allow us to successfully appeal that. And so, a couple on the list are like a work stoppage or work reduction, if a spouse passed away, if you got married, or if you were divorced. There's a whole list of things that we can successfully appeal that and get those Medicare premiums dropped down lower. And so oftentimes we really like to try. People might just have these one-time things that popped up. Maybe they retired in 2024, and so their income dropped in previous years after that. And so we want to make sure they don't pay too much in Medicare premiums if we can avoid it.
Yes, okay, so with the IRMA, how can people, so you say they can avoid it through the waiver, but they would have to have received a letter notifying them that they actually
Are in IRMA.
IRMA.
Yeah.
Okay, so if people did not receive a letter, they're in the clear?
They should be.
Okay.
Yeah. It's still probably a good idea to keep track of how much you're getting from Social Security every month, because typically the Medicare premium is deducted from Social Security. So if you notice that your Social Security all of a sudden went down significantly in January, or it was, $80 less than what you anticipated it to be, that could be a sign that you're in IRMA and maybe missed the letter. I'm always one that is very skeptical about receiving physical stuff in the mail, and so sometimes they get thrown away, sometimes they don't get delivered.
Yeah.
There are folks out there, though, that maybe didn't have one of those qualifying events, and their income is just pretty much high every year in retirement, whether it's from pensions or required minimum distributions or part-time work, whatever it might be. There's some people who are just in IRMA every single year. And if that's the case, there is still planning that we can do for people in that situation. Sometimes we'll do Roth conversions to help avoid IRMA later on down the road. There's a lot of strategies that we can use to help avoid that. But I would just tell people, don't just settle for paying more in your Medicare premiums. Let's see if there's something we can do about it.
Okay, interesting, very interesting. But one question for you. You say that 65 and up. If someone's 65 and up, in general, they're qualifying for Medicare, or is it only once they cross over and decide to go into retirement and start collecting Social Security?
Yeah, once you're 65, you're eligible for Medicare. Okay. There are still a lot of folks who are working at 65, and at that time they have the option to either go on Medicare or continue their work
own
coverage.
Okay.
Yeah, once they retire, there's a certain time period where they need to sign up for Medicare. There's a lot of people that even when they are working, they'll still sign up for Medicare Part A because there isn't a premium associated with that, but there are some pros and cons for that both ways. But I mean, the vast majority of folks who are over 65 and retired are on Medicare.
Well, thank you so much, Caleb. We appreciate this information today.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, guys, if you want more information about Foster Financial, remember we will have their phone number listed below. Give them a call. It is the time now to start planning for your financial future. And I'll see you after the break. This segment sponsored by Foster Financial.
Living Local 15, proudly driven by the Kelly Automotive Group.
Well, that's our show for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. And remember, you can always catch up on episodes and segments of Living Local 15 by going to WANE.com, downloading the WANE app, and also checking us out on YouTube. And I'll leave you with this. For last year's words belong to last year's language. It is time to reinvent and also form a new language for yourself this year. And I look forward to seeing you here tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Content segments during today's Living Local 15 were paid for by these sponsors.